Hello and welcome to episode 1 of my series on my favourite economics related photographs. Today we're going to be talking about this very famous photograph that's on screen now called the Migrant Mother. This was a photograph taken in California during the heights of the Great Depression. It features Florence Owens Thompson and 2 of her children. The photograph was taken by Dorothy Lang in 1936, and it features Thompson looking out away from the photographer, almost contemplating what her future options are. To the side of Thompson are 2 of her children, hiding their faces from the camera or to the audience almost like to the outside world. This picture is world famous, and it's a fantastic representation of the real human impacts that economics and depressions can have on the everyday person. The Great Depression is arguably one of the worst depressions that has ever hit an economy. In short, it was caused by massive overconfidence. Individuals took on debt in order to buy into the stock market because they believed that stocks couldn't fall. Then when the stock market did fall, a load of people who had borrowed this money couldn't pay it back. And that then led to a banking crisis. This led to the United States going into one of the deepest depressions on record and led to countless people being left with absolutely nothing. One of those people is Thompson, who in this photograph is pictured in a camp. She'd been traveling around California looking for work, and this became a very common practice of whole families moving from one town to another in search of work. The camp that Thompson's pictured in was an impromptu camp at the side of the road, but had around 2,000 to 3,000 inhabitants. These were all people who were just moving throughout the United States looking for work. The photographer Lang took this picture as part of her work for the US government, specifically the Resettlement Administration. They were in charge of helping the destitute and those victims of the Depression. But Lang sent this photograph to the San Francisco News, who almost immediately published it. The photograph became a major talking point in the news and of the day. And in response, the federal government sent £20,000 of food packages to the camp that Thompson was in. But by this point, Thompson had long moved on. Now, this photograph was circulated not only in the US, but also in the international press. And it became symbolic of the Great Depression and the effect it was having on people. But there's a sad side to this story. Thompson wasn't aware that the photograph had been circulated. And it wasn't until 20 years later that she realized the photo had become such an iconic piece of history. Unfortunately, Thompson couldn't claim any monetary reward for her being pictured in the photograph. That's because the picture was taken by Lang, who was working for the federal government. And that picture became federal government property. So there was no way that Thompson could claim any monetizable amount or benefit from her worldwide fame. Thompson manages, with the help of her family later in life, to settle down and buy a house in California. She dies in 1983 at the age of 80 years old. I think the inscription on her tombstone is not only telling of her iconic status, but also is a really poignant reminder of the real-world implications of economics. Her tombstone reads, "Florence Leon Thompson, Migrant Mother, a legend of the strength of American motherhood." And that is why this is one of my favourite pictures of economics. So what's your favourite photo in economics? Let me know in the comments down below. As you may be able to tell, I'm also growing a moustache because I'm raising money for Movember, so if you'd like to support me in the charity, feel free to check out my link in my bio. And make sure you follow the channel because I'll be making more videos on my favourite economics related photographs. Until the next time, goodbye.